Welcome again, everyone, to another class with me, Sean-Haleen. And today I'm going to be teaching a technique. I'm not sure if there's a specific name for it, but it's a little bit strange and it can be a little bit messy. But basically, it's where we deliberately take ourselves out of alignment in a pose to access a certain part of our body. Then we bring ourselves back into alignment. So we're going to repeat it a couple of times because it just makes it a little more fluid and understandable. But my hope is that you'll find some really great ways to access very tight parts of your body while doing this type of work. So let's go ahead and begin. All you'll need today is a block or something like a block. And let's just begin on our backs for a few minutes to warm up. So you'll go ahead and lie down, bend your knees, place your feet on the ground, and then just cross your right ankle over your left thigh, interlace your fingers behind your left thigh, thread the needle pose. And then just a very quick hold to begin. Switch sides, cross your left ankle over your right thigh, interlace your fingers behind your right thigh, keep your left foot active. And then switch sides again, right ankle over the left. This time you could hold in front of your left shin to intensify the stretch a little bit. And then release, cross your left ankle over your right, hold in front of the right shin if you did on the first side. Then go back to the first side, cross your right ankle over your left thigh, hold behind your left thigh or in front of the shin for a moment. Then just release your left foot to the ground. Keep your right ankle crossed over the thigh. Scoot your butt a few inches over to the right, and then just drop your legs over to the left. So kind of like almost eagle legs twist. You can take your left hand to your right knee, gently draw your right knee towards you, turn your head, belly, chest to the right. Then come back to center. One more time, cross your left ankle over your right thigh, hold behind the right thigh or in front of the calf. And then release. Before you come to your twist, scoot your butt a few inches to your left. Then take your legs over. Bring your right hand to your left knee. Gently bring the knee towards the floor and turn your head, belly, chest to the left. Then inhale, come back to center. Hug both knees into your chest now. And begin to rock up and down your spine. And then the next time you come forward, cross your ankles, place your hands at the top of your mat, and please make your way into downward facing dog. Start by separating your feet nice and wide. Bend your knees generously. Reach your hips back with your knees bent. Keep the extension of your hips back and slowly begin to stretch your legs a little bit straighter. And then do that one more time. Bend your knees, push down and forward with your hands, move your chest back, reach your hips back, and then begin to re-extend your legs towards straight. Now take your feet about hips distance. Inhale, come forward to a plank pose. And then exhale, go back to downward facing dog. With the breath a few times. Inhale, come forward to plank. Keep your thighs pulling up. Keep the head lifting up. Exhale, downward facing dog. And one more time. Inhale, come forward to plank. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your right leg up into the sky. Exhale, bring your knee forward towards your nose. Raise your knee up and around your back. Then inhale, stretch your right leg up behind you. And then exhale, step your right leg forward to a lunge. Lower your left knee down. Take your left fingertips a few inches off to the left till it comes off of your mat. And then twist your right arm up to the sky. With your back toes tucked under, take a nice deep breath in, stay in the twist, and as you exhale, lift your back thigh. Squeeze your front shin in, and twist your lower belly from left to right. Inhale, release your right hand down. Step back, downward facing dog. Second side, inhale, take your left leg up into the sky. And then exhale, bring your knee to your nose. Pull your knee up, round your back. Inhale, stretch your left leg up and back. And then exhale, step your left foot forward. Again, lower your right knee down. Take your right hand nice and wide. If you can, come up on your fingers, great. Then exhale, twist your left arm up. With your back toes tucked, wait for your next exhale, and then as you exhale, lift your back thigh. Keep your front thigh descending as you raise your back thigh up and squeeze the front shin in while you twist. Release your left hand. This time, step to the front of your mat, come to a standing forward fold. Inhale, stand up, arms overhead. And then exhale, hands by your sides, Tadasana. Inhale, stretch your arms up. Hold your left wrist with your right hand. Exhale, side bend to your right and sway your hips gently left. Inhale, come back up. Hold your right wrist. Exhale over to your left and sway your hips to the right. Inhale up, one more time each side. Hold your left wrist. Exhale over to the right. Keep both sides of your chest pointing forward while you try to straighten your arms. And then inhale back up. Hold your right wrist and exhale over to your left. Chest forward, arms straightish. Inhale back up. Arms overhead now, and then exhale, fold back to the ground, standing forward fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, step your right leg to the back of your mat. Lower your right knee down. Point your back toes this time. Inhale, stretch your arms up. Hook your thumbs together. Low lunge, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, release your hands to the floor. Step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward to a plank pose. Exhale and come down to the floor slowly. Point your toes. Inhale, rise up to cobra. Hug your shoulders back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your right leg into the sky. Exhale, bring your knee to your nose again. Raise your knee up. This time, exhale, take your right knee towards the left arm without dropping your hips and without bending your elbows. Inhale, stretch your right leg back. And then exhale, step your right foot through, left knee down, point your back toes, arms up, thumbs hooked again, and stretch. Exhale, release your hands to the floor. Step to the front of your mat, standing forward fold. Inhale, stand up, arms to the sky. And exhale, hands by your sides. All right, second side. Inhale, arms up. Hold your left wrist. Exhale, side bend to your right. Inhale through center. Hold your right wrist and exhale, side bend to your left. Inhale through the middle, both arms up. Exhale, fold to the floor, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen your chest halfway. Exhale, step your left leg back this time. Left knee down, toes pointed, arms up, thumbs hooked. Stretch your breath to the top. Exhale, hands down, and step back downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward to a plank pose. Exhale, lower to the ground. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg up into the sky. Exhale, bring your knee to your nose. Lift your knee up. Now, take your left knee towards your right arm. Your hips will turn a little bit, that's fine, but keep the arms straight, knee lifting. Inhale, left leg up and back. And then exhale, left foot forward, right knee down, final time, arms up, hook your thumbs, stretch. Exhale, hands down, step to the front of your mat, come to a forward fold. Inhale, bend your knees, chair pose this time. Turn your palms forward and bend your elbows out to the sides and squeeze your upper and middle back. Then inhale, stand up, hook your thumbs and stretch. Exhale, hands by your sides, Tadasana, mountain pose. All right. Hopefully you're warming up and you're ready to try some of this weird stuff we're about to do. Standing at the top of your mat, Inhale, both arms up to the sky. And then exhale and fold down to the floor. Step back to a downward facing dog. Now, from downward facing dog, inhale, take your left leg up into the sky. Exhale, bring your left foot forward. I know usually we start with our right foot, but whatever. We're breaking all the rules today. Now, grab your block. Bring your block down to, let's say, the middle or to the low height. The middle height will be a little bit more accessible, but a little more unstable. Now, walk the block back, kind of in line with your right hip. Then, walk your block over to the right until your hips kind of fall to the right of center, right? So you're kind of coming way out of alignment in your lunge. Hips come over to the side. Now, take your left hand to your hip and turn, roll your chest up. Take a deep breath in and keep your right hand where it is. But now as you exhale, push your hips over to the left so that they come back to where they would be in your standard lunge. Now as you push your hips over to the left, keep rolling your chest up, up, up. Now take your top arm straight to the sky and then stretch your top arm past your ear. Keep pushing your hips to the left. Keep pressing your right hand down and away into the block. Inhale, slowly come all the way out. And then switch sides. Bring your right leg forward and your left leg back. One of my friends calls that ecstasy pose. I'm not sure about that, but I do like it. All right, so again, right foot forward, left leg back. Keep your back toes tucked under for this. It will help with some of the balance. With your right hand on your right hip, again, you're gonna walk the left hand off and you're letting your hips come with you. You're kind of like going on a journey. Okay. Now, once you've kind of gone, you're gonna have to kind of decide how far is appropriate for you. It'll depend on the length of your body, the stability of your joints, as well as your flexibility. Then, keep your hand on your hip. As you exhale, move your hips over to the right. As you move your hips over to the right, turn and roll your chest up to the sky. If you feel any pinching in the left side of your lower back, try moving your left hand a little bit closer towards you or a little bit more forward. Then take your top arm up to the sky and stretch your top arm past your ear. Reach fully, stretch. Inhale, slowly come on out. Keep your block handy, but stretch back to downward facing dog for a moment. All right, from downward facing dog, inhale, come forward to a plank. Exhale, bend your elbows and lower. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Take your shoulders back. And then exhale, downward facing dog. All right. From downward dog, stretch your right leg up into the sky. Oh, I lied. Lower your right foot down, stretch your left foot up into the sky. Exhale, step your left foot forward, right knee down. All right, keep your back toes tucked under. Here we go again with ecstasy pose. Bring the block back in line with the hip, or maybe a little bit more forward to make it less intense. Crawl the block out. So you're deliberately letting your hips move. Right, you're deliberately letting your hips kind of go with you to the right as you move the block. But then as you exhale, you keep your hand out and push your hips over to the left. In the process of doing that, you'll feel the sides of your spine, the sides of your ribs, and probably your outer hip stretch a little bit. Then arm up to the sky and arm past your ear. Try your best to also turn your right hip more and more forward and pull your left hip back. Now straighten your top arm and even take your head back and your gaze back. Inhale, slowly release. And switch sides one more time. All right, so again, right foot forward, left foot back, left toes curled under. Crawl the left hand out. Bring your hips along for the ride initially. Then as you exhale, bring your hips back to center. Move your hips, shrug your shoulders up into your ears, and roll your chest up. Then take your top arm up, make sure you're breathing, and stretch your top arm past your ear. Reach it fully, reach it strongly. Left hip forward, right hip back. Then inhale, slowly release, and find your way back to downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, inhale, come forward to a plank. Exhale and lower to the ground. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Oh, do you feel a difference in your back after doing those ecstasy poses? And then exhale, downward facing dog. All right, stretch your right leg up as you inhale. Exhale, step your right foot forward, just a normal high lunge. Inhale, arms up to the sky. Put your right hand on your right thigh, stretch up tall through your left waist, and then exhale and twist. Hook your elbow outside of your thigh, fold your palms together, and roll your chest upward. Nothing too fancy or complicated here. Then release your hands down to the floor, step back, downward dog. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, left foot forward. Inhale, arms overhead. High lunge. Right hand stays up by your right ear. Push the left thigh down. Reach up and then exhale and twist your elbow outside. Fold your palms and then turn and roll upward. Inhale, release your hands and step back, downward facing dog pose. All right, let's try round 2 of our weird, deliberately misaligned poses. This one's fun. They're all fun. All right, come onto all fours, and then from here, the pose should be familiar. You're gonna thread your left shoulder and your left ear to the ground. Thread the needle. Come up onto your right fingertips and walk your right hand around your head a little bit. Now, from here, I want you to lift your bottom arm and your head and kind of crawl it over to the right a little. And in the process, here we go, moving the hips again. In the process of moving your head and your chest over to the right, I want you to push your hips to the right. Like, really move your hips to the right. Keep your hips to the right and walk your top hand around your head a little bit. Pull the tip of your right elbow up to the sky and turn your upper back. So hips to the right, right fingertips walk around your head, and tip of the elbow points up towards the ceiling. Now take a full breath in. Keep the twist in your upper back, and as you exhale, bring your hips over to the left now. Move them back to center, but don't lose the twist in your upper back. Inhale, slowly come on out. Take a moment to move through a cat and cow. Exhale, look down at your abdomen, round your back. Inhale, look forward. Cow pose. I have many times adjusted my own back doing that series of movements. So the idea is when you move your hips initially to the left, it enables you to turn your upper back. Then when you move the hips back to center, you should feel the extension move lower down the side of your spine. So let's give the other side a try. I'm going to turn around. I don't have much space on that side. So you're going to thread your right shoulder. Wait, is that the? Yeah, your right shoulder and your right ear to the ground. Okay. So now first, actively move your head and shoulders over to the left. You're probably going to come off of your mat. Then move your butt. If you can't quite, you don't know what I'm talking about, look at my butt. It goes way to the left. Then, with my butt way to the left, you're going to walk your hand around your head and try to roll more and more to the back of your head. Hips are over to the left. Oh. Now, try to keep the turn in your upper back, and as you exhale, hips back over to the right. So back to center. Keep your left elbow tip glued to the sky. Inhale, come on out. Move through a few rounds of cat-cow. Exhale, round in. Inhale, lengthen. And then go back to downward facing dog. Before we do the second round of that, inhale, forward to a plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Shoulders back, squeeze your inner ankle bones. Exhale, downward facing dog. All right. Now, guess what? We get to do it again. Hooray! All right, here we go. Shoulders over your wrists. Thread your left shoulder and your left ear down. Come up on your right fingertips. Now move your head. Move your head and bottom shoulder over. You can even move your right knee over to the right a little bit too if you find yourself losing balance. Let your hips move to the right. Turn, roll. Take your top armpit shoulder blade back. Then can you keep the turn of the upper back and exhale, move your hips over to the left again. Keep the tip of your elbow glued to the sky. Inhale, slowly come back to center. Again, cat-cow between sides, just to neutralize. And then final time, here we go. Exhale, whoopsie boopsie. Exhale, thread your right shoulder down. Walk your head, shoulder over to the left. I'm going to walk my left knee over a little bit to help counterbalance now. Shift your butt to the left. Roll, roll, roll to the back of your head. Woo! Keep crawling your bottom arm out. Now take a full inhale. And exhale, move your hips over to the right. So back to center. Left elbow up. Inhale, come on out. One more time, exhale to a cat pose. Inhale to a cow pose. And then downward facing dog pose. So many animals. All right. From down dog, inhale forward to a plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Spend a moment here. Shoulders back. Work your hands and fingertips. Exhale, downward facing dog. All right, take your right leg up. Lift your left heel, stack your right hip on top of your left, bend your right knee. Then straighten your right leg and exhale, sweep your right foot forward. High lunge, inhale, arms up to the sky. Now bend your elbows up to the sides and squeeze your shoulder blades to the back of your chest. Then inhale, take your arms back up. Put your right hand on your right thigh, stretch up through your left waist, and exhale, twist. Palms together, turn your chest back up. Notice the difference in the feeling in the back of your chest, your spine and hips after those poses that we've done. From the strength of your legs now, inhale, rise back up, slowly, steadily. Whoa. Hook your thumbs overhead. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, take your left leg up into the sky. Exhale, step your left foot forward between your hands. Inhale, high lunge. Bend your elbows, cactus arms. Squeeze your upper middle back. Inhale, stretch the arms up. And then exhale, twist. Palms together. Turn and rotate. Now rise from your legs, squeeze your inner thighs, outer hips in. Back to a high lunge, thumbs hooked. Exhale, downward facing dog. All right, here we go. From downward facing dog, I want you to bring your right shin to a pigeon pose. All right, now, from here, we're going to do yet another series of deliberately misaligning our bodies to find access to tighter spots. So you're gonna come into a twist. Bring your right elbow to the floor, stack your palms to the left. Now the further your elbow comes to the left, the more intense it becomes. Now, as you come into your twist, I want you to deliberately let your right hip come to the floor. So notice I just kind of rolled my pelvis over to the right, my hips kind of turned to the left, and then my right hip came to the floor. Then crawl your right elbow a little further over to the left and turn, roll your chest up. Try to plug your left shoulder blade back into your spine. Now you ready for it? Keep the twist in the upper back. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, turn your left hip forward again and pick your right hip back up off the floor. So you're coming back into your normal pigeon stance, but you're keeping the turn of the upper back. You got to really push your bottom elbow into the floor here. Then inhale, come on out. And downward dog. So hopefully, if that was confusing, bring your left shin forward. When I teach this one in class, there's quite a bit of confusion about the hips. So if you are not sure, on this side, you can watch what happens to my left hip. So notice, pigeon, your hips are never on the ground. Don't get me started on that. We'll spend the whole class talking about that. All right, so you're pushing your shin down. There's a lift in your pelvic floor, hips up. Now, you're going to twist to the right, bring your left elbow down, and then watch. I deliberately kind of let my whole pelvis roll over to the left. My hips turn to the right, and then I can twist deeper into my upper back. Just like we've been working on all class, you're kind of letting your hips kind of turn so that you can get your upper back to open more. Now take a deep breath in, keep the twist in the upper back, and you gotta pull your left hip up and press your left shin down like crazy and try to turn your right hip more and more forward. This will take the twist deeper into the belly and the middle and the lower back muscles. Inhale, come on out. Oh, downward facing dog. All right, this time, bring your right shin forward. And before we do that whole rigmarole, press your bottom shin down, pull your hips up, and I want you to reach back with your left hand and take a thigh stretch. My thighs these days just tight. Well, I mean, it doesn't look like it, but it feels like it. Tight as analogies are not my thing, so they're just tight. All right, now release your left foot down. This time we're going to do it a little bit differently. Before you come into your twist, deliberately just kind of fall onto your right hip a little bit. Then come into your twist, bring your right elbow down. Some of you, really flexible in your hips, might even be able to bring your right tricep into the crook of your foot. That's really intense. Press your elbow down, turn and rotate. Now take a full breath in without turning your chest back to the ground. Exhale. You gotta pick your hips up, turn your left hip forward, right hip back, but keep the turn of your upper back at the same time. So suddenly your right hip's working like crazy to pull itself off the ground while you twist. And then come on out. Downward dog. Left shin forward. Again, bend your back knee, hold your back foot, take a thigh stretch. Don't think so much about getting this into a back bend. Notice I'm not trying to come upright or bring my hand to my hip. Just think about this more as just getting into the thigh. Then release. All right. First, let your butt kind of plop to the left. Bring your left tricep down somewhere, left elbow down somewhere. Take a deep breath in, exhale, turn. So now if you can't bring your hips back to center, it means you're too deep into your twist. So you might have to adjust. So take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, stay in the twist and lift your left hip up. Turn your right hip more and more down towards the floor while you rotate up to the sky. Then inhale back, downward dog. From downward dog, inhale plank. Exhale to the floor. Reach back, interlace your fingers, Lift your arms, chest, legs, locust pose. Release your hands and feet down. Rise up to cobra pose. Exhale, lower. Now, reach back, interlace your fingers, lift up locust again, then bend your knees, grab your feet, bow pose. Kick your legs back, kick your chest out. Then release, rise up cobra or upward dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. All right, slowly walk forward to the top of your mat and come on up. All right, I hope you're ready to try one more thing. Well, maybe two more. Let's see how it goes. Grab your block. Then step your right foot forward and your left foot back. I want you to have your feet separated hips distance apart widthwise and 3 to 4 feet lengthwise. So depending on how long your legs are, about the length of one of your legs. Okay, now we're going to do twisted triangle pose with a whole slew of instructions, and I'm hoping that this will really enable you to find some space in a difficult pose to find space in. So put your right hand onto your hip, and then I want you to take the block to the highest setting, and then put the block down underneath your left shoulder. Now, move your block way over to the left. It's going to feel unlike any other twisted triangle you've done. Then, move your butt. Here we go, again with the butt. Move your hips over to the right. So your hips will kind of turn open, and they'll shift to the right. Then, turn your chest up. Take your top arm up to the sky. Keep squeezing your legs strongly. Now, take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, I want you to slowly start to pull and tack your right hip back. So swinging your hips back to where they normally would be. Now as you pull and tack your right hip back, try in one swift movement to take the block all the way now to the outside edge of your right foot. Keep pulling the right hip back, 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 and twist your chest deeper up to the sky. Then inhale, come on up. Pivot on your feet. Other side. So same idea, by moving the hips, unhinging the hips essentially, walking yourself out, that enables you to turn the upper back. Then the realignment of the pelvis back to the center extends the lower back, and you're trying to keep that. There's a lot of steps to this. You're doing great. Well, maybe you are, hopefully you are. This is some of my favorite work. So same thing, right hand to the block, move the block over to the side. Then I move my butt up and over to the left while I turn and roll my chest. Top arm up to the sky. Squeeze your legs. Now exhale, pull your left hip back. As you pull your left hip back, your chest will naturally kind of swing around more to the left. Let your bottom hand follow that. Then keep pulling the left hip back, 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 back. Push down strongly through the outer edge of your back foot. Inner edge of your front foot, and stretch. Inhale, come on up. Then just parallel your feet for a moment. Place the block down. Interlace your fingers behind your back. And then exhale, wide-legged forward bend. Prasarita Padottanasana. Bend your knees a little. Inhale, come on up. And step or jump your feet together. All right. Dawned on me when I did it the first side, I did it both facing towards the camera. So we're going to do it again, but this time I want to point away towards the point away from the camera, so that if you're having a hard time understanding the pelvis, you can see what's happening. All right. So let's start with the. Let me think about this math for a second, or not math, but just I don't know. Is this math? Yeah. Right leg forward, left leg back. Okay. Yeah. Here we go. Left hand down to the block. Now, I'm going to move the block over to my left. And then as you can see, kind of roll my butt up and over to the right. And at the same time, try to lengthen, grow your chest out. Go back to ecstasy pose. When you inhale, you are really pulling your side ribs out of your hips. Same kind of idea as ecstasy pose. And then take your top arm up to the sky. Then, as you exhale, first start pulling the right hip back, 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 and then move the block across. This time, maybe you want to take the block down a few settings. Keep squeezing legs powerfully. Don't lose the turn of the upper back as you pull the right hip back. Press your back foot down. Inhale, come on up. Woo! Spin on your feet. Final time, don't be too fat. Right hand to the block, left hand to your hip. Move your block over to the left. Roll your butt over to the left. Now essentially do ecstasy pose in your side ribs. Pull your side ribs up, out of your hips. Then turn, take your top arm up. Then you're keeping the turn of the chest. Exhale, roll the left hip back. And slowly, whoosh, block goes to the outer edge of the foot. Keep swinging your chest to the left and up. Outer left hip back and stretch the legs. Maybe take the block down. And inhale, come on up. Whew. And move your block to the side. All right, come to the front of your mat. Mountain pose. Inhale, arms to the sky. And exhale, fold to the floor. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, step or jump back. Lower down. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Hold it for a moment. Exhale, downward facing dog. Child's pose. All right, we're going to do one more standing series just because it's fun after doing all of that really deep work to then just see how it affects the poses that you normally do in most classes. And I'm going to add a couple variations without really teaching them. So if you're not really sure of how to do some of these next few poses, don't worry about it. I'll teach them in more detail in another video, but it's just to practice around. See what happens. All right, come to downward dog. Stretch your right leg up. Exhale, step your right leg forward. One more high lunge. Inhale, arms to the sky. Put your right hand onto your right thigh. Stretch up tall through your left waist. Now as you exhale, take your armpit. Yes, the armpit to the outside of your knee and see if your fingers touch the floor. If they don't, just bring your palms together in a prayer. If your fingers do touch the floor, put your right hand to the top of the hip. Push the hip down and turn your chest up. So hip presses down strongly, and then arm up to the sky. Then arm past your ear. Now, either come out and go to down dog, or keep your armpit to the outside of your knee, reach your hands forward, lift your hips up, bend your elbows, and straighten your legs. Ekapada Kundanyasana. Come on up, back to downward dog. Whew. Left leg up to the sky. Exhale, left foot forward between your hands. Inhale, arms up. Again, left hand to the left thigh. Stretch the right arm. Try to take the armpit. Oh, these poses are so freaking hard. Armpit outside the knee. Again, either just palms together and you're doing a great twisted prayer, Jesus, prayer, twist, pose. Or right fingers down. Push your left hip down strongly with the palm while you turn and roll your chest up. Then left arm up if you're still with me, and arm past your ear. Either stay here, come out, go to down dog, or lean forward, place your palms down, but up to the sky as you bend your elbows and straighten your legs. All right. One final downward facing dog. You've done great. Okay. Then come on out. Now take your block. If you don't have a classic yoga block, if you've been using kind of a block alternate, you can't really do this next one. So if you don't have a yoga block, I want you to just do a bridge pose. Hips up, fingers interlaced. Otherwise, take your block to the middle height, perpendicular to your upper back, and take a supported back bend with your fingers interlaced behind your head. I'm going to keep my knees bent for this. Hips are on the floor regardless of whether or not your knees are bent or straight. Then, as you exhale, rebend your knees. If you straighten your legs, be strong in your abdomen, and come on up. Move your block off to the side, lie down onto your back. All right, lift your hips up. Now everybody do a bridge. Exhale, lower your hips. All right. So now I know I've said this in other videos, and I promise one day I'm going to do a lot of detail in terms of the mechanics of the hips, the shoulders, the arms, the legs, the spine to come into this. But now I'm just going to talk you into the entrance, and we'll just see what happens after all that really deep spine and hip work. So lift your hips up, interlace your fingers, walk your shoulders in and together. Now lift your heels up and walk your heels a little closer to your butt, and then take your heels, actually it's easier to walk your feet before you lift the heels, sorry. So take your feet as wide as your mat and a little bit closer to your bum. Then lift your heels and lift your hips. Roll your chest towards your chin. Now keep your heels up, put your hands by your ears. Keep your heels up, hips up, and then as you exhale, I want you to move your chest towards your chin. As you move your chest towards your chin, come up onto your head and move your head back towards your feet. So chest moved towards your chin, head went back towards your feet, and do a reverse push-up. Come up, wheel. Then look up at the sky and come down slowly. Just rest with your knees together and your feet separate, a knock-knee position. Then keep your feet wide and just gently drop your knees to the left. And drop your knees to the right. Come back to center. Give your right knee a hug into your chest. Give your left knee a hug into your chest. Right leg down on the floor. And release. Bend your knees, place your feet to the ground. Again, just drop your knees to your left. Pick your left foot up, put it on top of your right knee. Turn your head to the right. Bring your knees back to center. Drop your knees to the right. Right foot on top of your left knee. And turn your face to the left. Slowly come back to center. Give both knees a hug into your spine, or into your whatever. Just do this. And Shavasana. Stretch the arms out. Stretch the legs out. Take a deep breath in through your nose. And exhale. And just take a nice full breath in. And a long exhale. Bend your knees one at a time. Reach your arms overhead and roll slowly to your right hand side. And press up to seated. So I truly hope that some of that weird work, deliberately misaligning our poses, really actually helped you to access some very tight parts of your body. Like I end all my classes with, here in the middle of a pandemic, I know many of us have lost our jobs and our income, and I want you to feel free to take my videos for free with no pressure to donate. If you are able to donate to support my teaching, I would surely appreciate it. My donation information is in the description of the video below. If you have questions, comments, concerns, let me know. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Bye.